Code Fantasy Life only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Dwain, the Chargers took down the Raiders 22-10. We did see the Chargers cover as 3-point faves. The under cashed here at 41. Hilarious performance where we had Antonio Pierce punt on 4th and 1 on the Chargers 43 with 7 minutes remaining, down just 6 points. The same guy who's trying to build this rough and tumble, we're just going to go out there, win physically, do it the Raiders way, is, doing one of the softest punting decisions we will likely see all season long. But you know what? That's the Raiders thing. Let's talk about some good stuff. And the good stuff was JK Dobbins, 10 carries, 135 yards and a touchdown. Dwain, his hands must have been freaking fireballs because they were willing to, again, ride that hot hand out there. No, didn't have the, completely unreal top end speed. But I will say, as someone who watched every single one of Dobbins, carries at Ohio State, I remember him getting hawked a few times, against Clemson down by the 5-yard line, for one example. So I agree with the sentiment that despite the big performance, Dobbins didn't exactly look like the complete prime version of himself. But Dwain, I think we kind of saw what you might have spoken to reality. Even 80-90% of JK Dobbins still good enough to do a lot more than Gus Edwards at this point in their careers.
Yeah, I mean, great. He didn't finish the run. There's a lot of running backs that can't get the whole 70 yards to the end zone. The point is, he's reading the offensive line great. He's got the burst and the strength to get to the second level and beat those defenders. Okay, it's not easy. Not every back can beat the third level defenders. So fine, you want to put J.K. Dobbins in that bucket now? Go ahead. But you can't say that that makes him a bad running back or that you're going to crap all over this performance. If you're doing that, you're missing the point. Most running backs have that same issue. We see these guys get chased down all the time by defensive backs. So fine. He's not in the elite category of he's not Achan. He can't just outrun any human being on the field except the other dude on his team named the Cheetah. So when I look at Dobbins and I look at what he did today, Ian, it was still close from a utilization standpoint. 46% of the attempts went to Gus Edwards, 42% went to Dobbins. But it was clear, man, Dobbins is the better player, and they're going to keep feeding this guy more and more. And snaps, 59% to Dobbins, only 41% to Gus Edwards, 57% route participation for J.K. Dobbins. So he's already in a split backfield, and he's taking more of the passing down work right out of the gate. And that's all we can hope for. This is one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. It's on a team that's going to run the ball all the time. They had 27 rushing attempts on the day. Only one of those was a scramble. Okay, so 26 rushing attempts on the day, and they had 28 dropbacks. That's almost a 50-50 pass to run rate. You don't see that anywhere in the NFL, but you're going to see it with the Chargers. They're going to be dedicated to the run. So this is the dude, you want to be in on JK Dobbins. If somebody don't want to be in on JK Dobbins, I don't know why you're even playing fantasy football. This is the kind of story we want to root for. He looks like a good player and he's in the perfect environment. Ian, another one of our sicko calls this week. Yeah. JK Dobbins was the sicko call. So we're 2 for 2, Sam Darnold as well as JK Dobbins.
Just goes to show, man, fantasy football, it's a sick game. And sometimes you got to embrace that to get the results you really want about it. So, we'll get into specific FAAB recommendations on our Monday and Tuesday shows. And again, Dwayne's going to have his award-winning utilization report out there with that. But for you, Dwayne, with Dobbins, is he someone that's more probably in that 30% range? Okay, you need a running back. We have a good one here. Or are you looking at this like a Kyren Williams, break the freaking glass and spend everything you got?
Yeah, I think he's probably in that 25 to 30% range. Again, we have the injury history, so it's just enough. But you guys know what kind of league you're in. Mm-hmm. If you're in a smaller league where there's more players available, you don't have to bid as much of your FAAB. But if you're playing in a deeper league and stuff, for some reason, J.K. Dobbins is available, which he just shouldn't be, well, then you're going to need to bid more of it. So, if you're playing over on the FFPC, you're playing over on any of these other real-time sports, and for some reason Dobbins managed to be out there, which he was drafted in all those leagues. He would have had to have been dropped last weekend. Right. But if you're playing in that style of league, you're gonna have to break the bank to go get JK Dobbins. But here's the thing. The guy was hyper talented before the injuries. Maybe he is just 80%, but I think it's going to be enough. We have the scheme we want. We have the offensive line we want. And honestly, the competition is just not that strong. I don't think you can wait multiple weeks to be okay, now I'm in on JK Dobbins. This is the kind of performance that you need to see it, and you just got to pounce on it.
again, was only Dobbins and Gus Edwards. And we can live with 2 running back committees in the year 2024. 3 or 4 is when it gets complicated. And yeah, not what we're dealing with right now. You mentioned the run pass rate, Dwain. Accordingly, Justin Herbert, just 26 pass attempts and 144 yards through the air. Did find Lad McConkey for a touchdown. And, the young lad, sorry, everyone, but he broke a couple nice tackles, got into the end zone. Then a fist fight erupted. Josh Palmer actually ended up getting ejected, which was kind of hilarious.